Matt Gannon, Jers. We are back for what? Going into the day, a lot of different ways the Valspy could have gone. I had, I think, more guys hard mix in an event than I've had in a long time. But also, I wasn't really watching the event. I've said this, I think I said it last year. The first 4 days of March Madness are such a special time. And I love the Valspar. I'm a Valspy guy. Always have been. But I had my eyes on March Madness because it only happens those first 4 days. It only happens so often. You got to drink it in. But in the end, storylines, Jers.
A
Storyline
ton.
at the Valspy. I know you had eyes on it the whole time. I watched the back nine. I saw the last 9 holes. I was tracking on my phone the whole time because, like I said, I was hard mixing with a lot of guys. But you had your eyes on it the whole week. Just set the scene. What'd you see? What were your thoughts? High level, macro thoughts right out of the gates.
Yeah, so I mean, going into the week, I was very tired. One more boots week, and it was a great boots. Everything went well. I don't love Innisbrook like visually, and I don't love Innisbrook as a whole. And it worked out. Everything was awesome with this golf tournament. It was fun from the start to the finish. Came down to the last hole or almost the last hole. And yeah, there was massive swings all week. We saw guys post we saw Nico Etch get to 7 on Friday afternoon, like 3 shots clear of the field. We saw Ben On 3 shots or 2 shots clear of the field, get to -9 on Saturday afternoon. And then we saw JT have a big lead on Sunday. And it just constantly swapped. And there was never a time where any lead felt safe. It was an all-in-all great golf tournament. Everyone was in it. Like literally, JT made the cut on the number and won around the number, I think. And there was never a chance where you were out of the golf tournament. So it was just an amazing week. I thought it was a fun watch. I watched it from start to finish. So shout out to Valspy. It worked out.
Yeah, and that's another reason why, even though, like I said, from day one, it was honestly one of the best cards that I've had. I had so many guys up there. I was like, but at the same time, it was like, what's the point of watching? Because once a guy gets up there, if he's going to be dropping back, like it felt like it was one of those events we're just waiting to tune in until the back 9 on Sunday. Ultimately, like, yes, I was going to do that either way, but it kind of ended up just playing like that, where I was like, even though, Nico Etch is in the lead, or Shane's up there the whole time, or Billy Ho's mixing a little bit, or Jaeger and Fox in the first round, it's like the golf course just, you want to get to the lead as much at the last second as Valspar as you can, which is ultimately exactly what Vic did after getting there, dropping back a step, and then slingshot it up and swooped it right down to the end.
Yeah, Vic never had that big lead like JT, like Ben On, like Nico Etch did. Vic was always around the lead or like one ahead. Never got more than that. So until obviously at the very end. So yeah, do you want to get into the Vic stuff? I guess that's next.
I think, and we sometimes chit chat for a few minutes before the pod. Sometimes we just jump right in, all natural. So that's what we're going here on this pod for the Valspy. So I think, a couple things I was thinking is where we could go. One is I saw some messages before the final round saying this is a great final round for dog measurement. There's going to be a lot of dog analysis possible in this final round. And I was thinking we can just go down the board and just assess dogs, see where they are in the dog rankings, because that ties perfectly into Vic. Because this, to me, was the ultimate dog performance. What do we say the definition of dog is? Doesn't matter if you're good at golf, bad at golf, or in between. When you play your best and you're in the mix on the back 9, can you win? And that's just what Vic did. He was 3rd in the field in the dog rankings coming into the week. We know he's a high dog player. And that, to me, was just the dictionary definition. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, that is 100% what dog is. It doesn't matter what form you're in. When you mix, how hard do you mix? Vic was mixing after 3 straight missed cuts. All right, I'm here. He still doesn't have his best stuff. He's talking about not having his best stuff, but dog is putting it together, and that is exactly what Vic did. And obviously, we didn't want it to go that way. We both had Nico Etch over 200 to 1. No beef with Nico Etch, truly, but Vic got the 54-hole lead, tied with 2 other guys, and was there till the very, very end. Going into the week, he was hitting the ball fine. The ball striking wasn't peak Vic, but it wasn't like a horrible. It was the short game that was just really, really bad. The ball striking was like a little bit above average, and it was around there. He peaked a little bit, but he found the putter this week. The around the green play was still Vic, but this was a peak Vic stat profile. Just great approach, great ball striking, and great putting with horrible around the green. That's when Vic is at his best. So it's great to see him find something going forward because, golf's better when Vic's winning.
I totally agree on the fact that golf is better when Vic is winning. Like I had Nico Etch up there. I had Billy Ho up there. I had Lowry up there. I want to talk about Lowry because I think it was the worst performance on par fives in the history of golf. Specifically, if you end up next to the green in 2, like it wasn't like he was not putting himself in.
I did see that actually.
But I will talk about that later. But I also like the guys I had in the mix. I never really got my hopes up on. Like Nico Etch, I knew it was going to be a tough ask, even though he has some dog. Billy Ho was too far back. Like Billy Ho's run was sick, and we have to talk about Billy Ho because he hit one of the greatest shots of all time today to make birdie.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, Vic wasn't actually hitting it that good. Like his stats were okay coming into the tournament.
Yeah.
He's missed 3 straight cuts, so it's not even 4 rounds worth of data. Like he's really not hitting it great. He had obviously the short game's been terrible. The putting, I get like 80-1 Vic. Good bet. Like if you're people who bet that, I saw a tout bet him, like great call, because at the end of the day, we talk about like perpetuity bets. Like we're going to bet Nick Dunn 200-1 into perpetuity. Like I will be this week because Houston Open is a Nick Dunn course. But that's really the only strong argument for why you would have been on Vic this week. It's just you're going to bet him every week at these numbers because at some point he's going to pop, because at the end of the day, the numbers really weren't there for him. But strokes gained dog, he plays well enough. It's a tournament where you don't have to like play amazing. You just kind of have to hang tough. And he won through dog exclusively. Honestly, in my opinion, that's sick. Like I'm not taking that away from him. I'm complimenting him.
I honestly did think going into the week that it was a great golf course for Vic. And in his Saturday interview, he literally said, "I think this is a great golf course for me." And he hasn't been playing these style events. He's only been playing like the elevated events. And going into the week, I made my stand on the bad wave, which obviously didn't turn out, or the good wave, which obviously didn't turn out to be true, which is why I'm not mad at all that I didn't go towards Vic. Do you have any FOMO on Vic, or were you thinking about him? I wanted to ask you about that.
No, I think because you didn't see him at Boots, right? There was no Vic.
No, he's just not. He doesn't practice. He only practices short game.
If you had given like a sick Boots report on Vic and he was 80-1 and he won, I would have regret for sure. But like that wasn't the case, and I didn't go exclusively to the wave split. I think we should talk about the wave split too, because that's what the world was talking about going into the week. I ultimately, and I said this on the pod and I wrote it up, like I didn't think the wave split was going to be as big as people were saying it. If I had to lean one way or the other on my bets, I would have leaned towards the AM PM wave that had the alleged advantage. And Vic, and the reason I bet Lowry was 40-1, and his odds like doubled because he was in the bad wave. But I was like, Lowry's a good player. He can handle these conditions. This isn't a course where the lead's going to run away from you. Birdie Fest, to me, I think the wave splits can be more impactful than they can in these style of events. And that makes sense for Vic. He's a good player. The wave ultimately shouldn't have mattered on a player like that. So I'd say if I have any regrets, it'd maybe be like over not just committing to what I thought, which is that the wave advantage wasn't going to be that big of a deal for a quality player. But his stats just weren't there. It would have had to be dog. He was third in the field in dog rankings at 80-1. That literally is probably the biggest regret that I have, is that would have been the equation, I guess, that I would have done to end up on Vic, if that makes sense.
I mean, 1 and 2 were PM wave. I think Bud Cauley was PM wave. Yeah, so it really, and like I think the stats were very, very similar in terms of the strokes average. So like I can live with taking a stand and being wrong. I would be upset if I was like, yeah, I really like Vic this week, or had like something else got me off him. But I took my stand. I'm obviously not always going to be right. And I had some guys in the mix, so I can't complain. Shout out the Vic backer. Shout out Vic for pulling through. Thought it was a great watch. I thought it was a great golf tournament, and a good way to end the Florida swing.
I like at the end. Like, so right now, Vic is 13 in the dog rankings overall. He's right in front of him at 12 is Rory. Who do you think has more dog between Rory and Vic? Obviously, they won in consecutive weeks. And obviously, as we said, this isn't who is the better golfer today or who's more likely to win a major. It's if they're both playing great and tied on the back nine, who do you think wins in a big event?
Did Rory get moved up last week, or he just did where it was?
I haven't updated since 2 weeks ago. I need to update. He might slide up a little bit, but with Rory, we've always had him in the dog rankings, not at the top, but like we've not been hard out like Rory haters that he doesn't have dog.
I think Rory still stays ahead because obviously Rory didn't have to beat Murderer's Row last week, but he had nothing close to his best stuff, and he still found a way to get it done. And like honestly, Rory last week was a ton of dog. Like he was playing from all over the players, from the trees. And Vic, this was a pure dog win. Like he obviously doesn't have his best stuff, and he was hitting good, fine shots, but he was getting out of making some mistakes and getting away with it, and fighting to get away with it is what I'm saying. So I think he stays one behind Rory. I think that's a perfect spot for him.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think like I said, I haven't. I don't know if I've bet Vic this year. No, I think I
haven't either.
In Dubai, remember? And then I said I was scarred by like what I saw that I couldn't bet him for a while. Just insane. He even his interviews, like, so this is my question, and I'll take a stance here that I don't think this means that Vic is like back to be ready to compete at the top of the game consistently and in majors. Now, by the middle of major season, does he get to that point? Maybe. I'm just saying as of today, like going into the Masters and things like that. Because I've bet Vic at the Masters at like 50-1 before. I think if those numbers exist, that's good. But I start to feel like things will move the opposite direction off of this win. He's wanted a course where he could lose strokes around the green. Like he putted really, really well. Even he's phenomenal. Saying he doesn't know where the ball is going.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to get overly hyped. This is great for Vic. I'm happy for Vic. I'm glad. I want Vic to play well. He's a great guy and good for the tour. But I'm not like buying all the stock right now. I'm monitoring the situation, I would say.
Yeah, I do think this is going to be good for his confidence because he knows he can win when he doesn't have his best stuff. And like, I also think what's good for his confidence is him playing the weekend with Bridgman and Castillo, two guys who just hit the ball literally like horribly and like for like around all weekend. He's like, these are the guys who are beating me. Like, this is what I have to compete with, and I haven't been competing with. So I think that's going to dial him in and be like, I'm so good at golf. Like, let me just be myself, because that's what happened this weekend.
Let's quickly do like and subscribe, and then let's go down the leaderboard here, talk some dog about the guys before we get on to a very interesting event. I feel like this week in Houston, one of the craziest odd boards I think I've ever seen. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen an odds board on any tour ever where there's a guy at 3-1, 6-1, and then the next guys are 30-1.
And that will hash out a little bit tomorrow and Tuesday, but it's still funny how it's opening up.
Yeah, on DraftKings right now. This is being recorded 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night. But yeah, like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube or on a podcast network. We always appreciate that. 5-star review as well. We always say if we earn it. And as always, shout out to everybody who supports the boots, supports the site. It's been a great run of Florida boots, Matt. Great efforts out there. Tiring, I know, but we really appreciate you getting that insight out there for everybody, myself included. Obviously, I was only down there for one boots event, but we really appreciate you. And the show goes on. We got the PGA Tour this week in the Houston Open, a place where you hit Stevie Yeggs, I believe. I've hit Finau there. I'm excited for this event. It's going to be a tough, interesting betting event. Try to figure out how we're
going to you have Houston ties, too. You have Memorial Boots ties, too, so Memorial Park. So this could be a good week.
I do. And I feel like I'm seeing the board great. I feel like I honestly
People are saying that, yeah.
I just... like at the end of the day, you need the dice to fall your way. Like Carl hit a few weeks ago. That's great. I've been doing these 10x cards. So my level of stress this year doing like the 10x multiple over 7x is gone down a ton just because I did playing a longer game, more patience and like getting guys into the mix. It's been nice. And like I said, this was such a weird sweat because it was one of the best cards I've put together for a long time, but just I let it be. I watched it from a distance. It didn't end up working out, but it was fun. And so
this was a non-tilting week too. I agree with you because we both had guys mixing all weekend, and it was just I feel like it could have been more tilting. Like if Nico would have lost on like dumping it in the water on 16, maybe then we'd be a bit more upset right now. But we have a 225 to guy leader or 54-hole leader. I'm not that mad. But what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I do have a couple tilting guys that I think we need to discuss. In a moment. But yeah, so we got Houston Open this week. We've got the LPGA's back. Right. I believe officially. Is it the match play?
I believe so.
If it's the match
I'll look it up while you're talking.
If it's a match play, we might have to get wrists on for fast greens this week.
Yep.
No boots this week down in Texas, but that means fast greens this week on Wednesday. And if it's the match play, we might have to get wrists on there. And then the DP, Mansell finally won. Mansell finally won, Jers. He finally won. One of the ultimate driver putter golfers that exists on the face of the earth. Generational striper, Richie Mans off the tee. Makes sense every tournament on the DP. Never, ever wins. He finally did it, but only because they played 54 holes. But I just had to note that Richie Mans got it done in Singapore.
He wouldn't have been able to win without 54 holes. That is a fact. But we have the Ford Championship in Chandler, Arizona. Nelly Corda is defending champion next week. Then T-Mobile match play is the week after, leading up to Augusta. That's a good run of golf.
And then there's the Augusta Women's Amateur. That's right before the Masters. Week, right? And then the first LPGA Major, I believe the Chevron comes up
24th. Yep.
Too. So we got the LPGA. That'll be great. And then Jers, the college basketball. What a roller coaster it's been for me. Last year, I bet a shit ton of college basketball. It went great. Probably the best year of betting any sport that I've ever had. And then didn't do it this year. I just didn't have the time. It takes a lot of time to bet a lot of college basketball, as you know. Said, fuck it. I'm going to come back from March Madness and I'm going to see what happens. I don't know as much about these teams, but I still remember a lot from last year when I was deep in the weeds. Let's see what happens. I always usually bet pretty good at March Madness. Bad start. I put out 11 picks for the first round. I had one on Wednesday, loses. Thursday, first day of the second round, I had 5, 1-4. So I was off to a 1-5 start. I was like, maybe I've lost the touch. Then Friday, 4-1. Yesterday, 4-1. Right now, I think 1-1 with 1 to go. But either way, over 500.
Okay.
With a chance for steadily above 500 through the first 2 rounds. I'm content. At the end of the day, all I want to do is break even over March Madness, enjoy myself, have a fun time. But I was stressed. I was like, when I came back and I was out of the gates terrible, I was like, what a waste of time. Why am I doing this? Relief.
And have you been dialed in on all the games, watching them as much as you can?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I think, and who knows, but I do in general usually get better as the tournament goes on because you see the teams, you begin to understand them better. And so either the second round will either be 5-3 or 6-2, depending on what happens tonight in New Mexico. We need New Mexico to cover 7.5 tonight, Jers. That is what people who will listen to this will know by the time of it or not. But that's up on Vince Eric's Hoops. Those are just tweets. Obviously, get in the Discord. Who
are they playing?
Michigan State. But this New Mexico squad is nice. I watched them in the first round.
Patino, right?
Yeah. Other Patino. The tournament's been great. The first round, there wasn't a lot of upsets or crazy things that happened. But the second round, because there hasn't been any upsets, has been fun. It was Calipari against Patino. Did you see that? It was St. John's against Arkansas. Calipari won. And I think I haven't fully committed. I'd say I'm 95% likely. The Sweet 16 and Elite 8 in the West region, Florida, either Texas Tech, Arkansas, and then there's going to be one other team. I think maybe Maryland or Colorado State. They're playing in San Francisco.
Are they? It's the place we drove past, I would assume, right?
Chase, yeah, where the Warriors play.
Okay.
So
yeah, that'd be
I think I'm going to go get boots on the ground for the second round.
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay. Yeah, I had to talk some March Madness. At the end of the day, like I said, I love the Valspar, but this time of year, I commit myself to college basketball. I think, honestly, it's my best betting sport. I don't know why or how, but a lot of sports are tilting. For some reason, college basketball just, maybe the luck is on my side, but I swear a lot of times I'm like, it feels like luck is on my side when it comes to college basketball. I don't know what it is, but this time of year, and then it leads right into the Masters. They're doing the Masters ads during the tournament.
Yeah.
Does it really get much better than this time of year?
No. I caught some slack on Twitter on Thursday when it was day one of March Madness, and I just my biggest prized possession that I will forever flex is my TV setup. So I posted a picture of all 4 Valspar streams going. They're like, dude, it's fucking March Madness. Just turn the basketball on. I'm like, no, it's golf only.
But that's
it's golf only.
You used to be a hardcore college hoops better, but it tilted you too much, and you just decided to call it quits, which is fair because it is terribly tilting. One of the main reasons I didn't bet it this most recent season is it's too frustrating of a sport to watch consistently. I forgot the first day, especially as everything was going against me. I was like, you forget what it's like to bet a sport with refs because I really only bet golf, tennis, 2 sports where effectively the refs, tennis usually has the electronic line judges, it's perfection rules. And then you watch college basketball where the refs are a legitimate disgrace. Like we'll get back to golf in just a second, but I have to tell you this because I don't know if you've been watching the tournament. This is fine. Like, I'm not against this, but college basketball used to have more charges than it was a charge every play or a block. Like, but it was usually a charge. Guys would throw themselves in front on defense, like charges all the time. I've seen like one, and I've watched like every game of the tournament. They've eliminated it from
I remember them like making a rule to like really try to eliminate that. But I haven't watched a single full college basketball game this year. Like, not betting college basketball was it was a true look yourself in the mirror moment, as well as like just college football too. So I'm just fully committed to the craft of golf betting, but I know the sweat, I know the grind, been there for a while. So I wish you the best going forward in the college hoops, but I will not be.
Thank you. And the other thing is the illegal screen. That you can do anything on a screen now. There are no rules. The illegal screen's been removed from the game, but the tournament fights on. Get over Vincerix_hoops is the Twitter handle, and then get in the Discord because we can talk college hoops in there as well. Just email discord@vincerix.com, and we always get back to those as fast as we can. Sometimes if I forget about you for a day or two, that's my bad. We try to get back to those Discord requests as fast as possible, but I know from time to time somebody slips through. So if you're one of those people, this is a shout out to you. And shout out to everybody who supports the site. Jers, back to the Valspar. To the leaderboard. JT is obviously the next guy that we have to talk about when we go down the board here at the Valspar. Like I said, I started following closely. I was tracking on the app all week, of course, getting my shot.
I need to ask you about the app. Was it giga slow, or is that just me?
I thought it was okay. I didn't notice anything.
I'm having some app issues right now, but I don't know. I might have to reset my phone or something.
I have been using the desktop version more on Thursdays and Fridays, and that one's crispy. That one.
Oh yeah.
But I was tracking on the app all week. I kept opening up, and Shane was greenside and 2 on the par 5s and would make par every single time. He'd chip it to like 45 feet. But JT, we talked about him on the Boots Report pod, and I said the bad wave JT is the best chance that he's had to win a tournament in ages. That's what I said. And he didn't play amazing in the bad wave, but it meant that he barely made the cut. And then he had to fight his way back. And I said, either he's going to fight his way back. I think I might have said on Saturday that he's going to fight his way back and then make double bogey and fall out of lead. That wasn't what ultimately happened. He was closer to winning at the end than I thought he was going to be. But the bad wave JT narrative almost hit because I started watching the back nine. I went to go check DraftKings with like 4 or 5 holes to go because I was like, I wasn't tracking close enough to understand like what, kind of what the vibes were of the tournament basically because I was at a distance. And JT was minus 1,400 on DraftKings after he made birdie on 15.
What?
Yeah. When I opened the app, and then almost immediately Victor made that birdie, and then things started to change. But
he was 7 under.
He really, I mean, what are your thoughts? We've talked JT all year. We've talked about the fancy shots. We've talked about how amazing he's playing and what the potential is with where his game is at. What is the state of the union? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think you had a 2-shot lead on 16T. Why are you hitting driver? Wanted to hit a cool slice around the like.
Did he? Okay, I was going to ask you because I didn't see that.
He hit driver. Don't know why he hit that driver. I mean, he hit a 3-wood just layup. I have no idea why he driver.
I didn't know that. Because like that's what I said, I wasn't watching.
Into the woods. Like it had no chance of going anywhere but deep into the woods. Like he had to chip out, and he made a great 5. He hit his 3rd into the bunker and got up and down for bogey. It was not an easy up and down. He made a great 5. So like it's not like he was one behind pressing up, trying to press it up there. Victor hit an iron off the tee and made a easy. Not that he was going to make a birdie if he hit an iron off the tee, but he would have probably made a par if he hit an iron off the tee to a long or mid iron or long iron. Yeah,
Vic hit iron on 16. So like 16 was the gap where I didn't see. I was watching the end of a game.
Yeah. Vic hit long iron and then he hit like mid iron into the green, and I think he put it to like 4 or 5 feet.
And JT with a 2-shot lead tried to play the banana slice driver.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Just pulled it straight left into the woods.
I saw that he hit it in the woods, but I didn't know that this happened. And I didn't know
324.
I didn't know that you could hit iron off the tee. I didn't even think about that. Iron. That is that changes everything.
A lot of guys were just hitting less than driver anyway, just like laying back, take that line left where you can't go through, even if you're in the rough a little bit, you can manage it. but JT hit a driver that would have had to have been the perfect banana slice. Bring the water into play. If you over slice it, if you pull it, you're dead. Had to hit the perfect shot, and he won.
I don't even know what to say. That is so. I'm not surprised. Like, it makes sense.
No.
I was wondering, did he try something fancy? But the bits that I saw from him, it looked like he was playing pretty straight iron play at least. But yeah, if he went for the crazy shot off the tee, and then I saw he was hitting it left a couple times. I saw, but I mean, minus 1400. That's pretty big favorite. No, with that said, I don't think JT did not finish strong, obviously. No. But it wasn't like he mega gagged it, in my opinion. Vic finished impressively. What was Vic on the back nine? Like 4 or 5 under?
Vic on the back nine was 3 under.
But that's because he bogeyed 18. He bogeyed 18. He just was playing it safe on 18. He didn't But
birdieing 16 and 17 is no joke.
No, that's serious.
Some serious stuff.
Vic is just good. At the end of the day, he is just good. JT right now we've been moving him down in the dog rankings. He's 31st in the dog rankings. It's just like what
are you doing, dude?
What number would you bet him to win
the Masters? Because I'm considering it.
Yeah. What? Okay, that's news. What number would you consider betting JT at the Masters?
30. That's news.
I've bet JT at the Masters before, and he's done some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. I think one time
on too 15, much art. It's way too much art.
It's a blank canvas. Like, it's a place for artistry, and that's the last thing you need. Honestly, I think that's why he plays good at a place like Valspar. It kind of tells you what you have to do. You know,
and the art is in the name. The art is in the title of Valspar, so like he knows that he can't compete with all the paint that they got going on. Dude, there's literally poster boards at the Valspar that like have different like Pantones of colors. So JT like knows he can't compete with this.
Speaking of artistry, where are we at? Where did Theegs finish?
I think like 30 something. He lost strokes on approach. 36, 1 under. Sorry. He hit the driver well.
I've never seen him so angry. Did you see that video where he like tomahawked? You're in the Theegs camp. What's going on there? He's been playing terrible, but like that was jarring. It threw me off a little bit.
I don't know what to make of Theegs. He's just so all over the place. Like sometimes he's popping in one run. It's like it's like prime Theegs right now. It's like we don't know what we're getting, and the numbers are staying around solid. Like he almost was first round leader in like the worst of the conditions on Thursday, which like it got pretty bleak Thursday afternoon. There wasn't that many guys mixing like Thursday afternoon getting up there, except for bikes and Theegs. So he gagged it after that. I don't know.
But yeah, I didn't.
We should also tell the people who bikes is.
You got it.
Kevin Velo.
Kevin Velo is bikes now. And if Nico had won, I don't think he earned it. We were going to call him Nicky Nations we were calling him Nicky Nations during the week, but his final round, I'm not going to call him that anymore because that's twice that Nico Nicky Nations I had him at RSM and I had him here. I feel like I know when he's going to mix, but it doesn't do me any good because that mix has been disappointing. It was a one flash in the pan moment. I can't believe, well, I guess he beat JT at Zozo.
At the Zozo.
Yeah. Okay, Bridgman. I didn't see much Bridgman. I didn't feel like I needed to see much Bridgman. Obviously,
just Jacob McCarthy. That's all it is. Jacob McCarthy.
Hard, but this to me is one of the most signs that you don't have dog. Is when you do something amazing like putting, and in the first round you gain 5.8. In the second round, you gain 1.7. In the third round, you gain 1.6 putting. And then in the final round, you lose minus 1.2. You forget to do your strength.
Yeah. Like he was getting 9 strokes putting through 3 rounds. It was a jump. I watched almost every shot this tournament. It was unreal stuff, what he did. And then as soon as he got, I think, one back of the lead, he 3-putt from like 8 feet today. So tough scene from Jacob. But Bermuda specialist. Shout out Jacob Bridgman. Because that we were so ahead of that take, Bermuda man. So next year we'll get him at the Valspar or what's the first Florida swing event? A Cognizant.
The Cog.
Oh yeah, he won that this year.
And maybe in the fall, Sanderson, somewhere like that. We might be able to get back there. But
he drives it. He drives it well. I will say that too.
I mean, he was a player we talked about a lot last year who could never finish inside the top 10, but he was pretty consistent. And now he's taking that next level. I think Bridgman is a good player.
He's young, yeah.
Yeah, like I just never felt like he was a big threat this week. Bud Cauley, since he's been given the Vincerix t-shirt, this caddy's been given the t-shirt, the results are
T8, T4.
tremendous.
Before that, he hadn't done that in a long time.
And all I'm asking is that we put the shirt on for the final round, because that could be the difference.
We could ask.
What do we think about that?
Ask. I mean, people are already saying that he hasn't had these top 10 finishes because of the shirt, and very few know. But the results are there. I mean, guys who are given the shirt have really been playing well. Like, but obviously, Ben has a lead through 45 holes. He's never had the shirt until then. I mean, the results are the results. So I think we can ask Bud's caddy if he wants to wear the shirt when he's inevitably mixing next time.
And that's why I was asking about Theegs, because people who have the shirt so far, Ben on one of his best tournaments of the year, hard mix until he wasn't. Bud Cauley, obviously having generational run of play, unlike we've ever seen from Bud. And then Theegs. And that's why I brought up Theegs, because Theegs, it's gone the opposite way. We've never seen Theegs more upset. So maybe the magic of the shirt goes different ways. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. The future could be bright for Theegs.
He's got Houston ties. So
he's usually mega popular at this event. I'm down.
Is he really? He's 60-1.
Really? Yeah. I bet him at a bad number here last year. It's a good course for him.
Great course for him.
Okay. I really need to talk about Billy Ho briefly, because I think I bet Billy Ho 3 of the 4 Florida Swing events. I think the only one I didn't bet him at was the Players. And it's because Florida golf is major season for Billy, and also Trim. Those are the times that Billy focuses in on the majors. And he was on the fringe of mixing the whole week. Never true mix, never not mix. But I thought at this golf course, we want some dog. Everybody's kind of in the mix. He's always kind of nipping at the heels. And then I'm tracking. I see he makes a birdie on, I think it was the par 5. It was like a 35-footer. I was like, oh, wow, dope from Billy. And you text me about what happened. I hadn't seen it. I've now seen the left-handed shot that Billy hit onto the green and made birdie from far out, like 120 yards. The man on a weekly basis shows dog at a level unlike anything we've ever seen. It's unreal stuff.
And I still don't know if that up and down was as much dog as him grinding hard on the range before driving 4 hours to Palm Beach and winning a TGL semifinal match. There's so many things to pick about Billy. And I had to text you because I didn't want to disturb you during the process. And we're very wary of how you and I need to sweat golf events. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to text you, but check this Billy up and down. You need to see this. It was unbelievable stuff. I was like, oh, here's Billy hitting left-handed shot. One of the greatest swings I've ever seen. Put it to 35 feet, and then he drains the putt. Shout out, Billy.
Absolutely sensational. And that's why he never, I felt like, was true mix. He made that birdie on 14. It was sick. It broke a shit ton. And then he had to look on 15. If he had made that, he might have been mixed. But 18, he missed that putt. That was tough scene.
Yeah.
We got to knock that down, Billy. But at the end of the day, he knew at that point that his race is run. He's not going to burn all of his dog unless he needs to. So great to see Billy in the mix. And I'll just continue betting Billy when he's 80-1. I'm just going to keep doing it. Perpetuity. I'm totally fine with that. Quickly, it was Davis Riley week, apparently. It almost worked out. That was surprising. But Shane Lowry. I don't need to talk about it, but what is going I never know what to even say. It's you're so good at golf and you're known as the generational short game guy. It's every time Shane Lowry has a wedge in his hands, it's time stops and everybody's we need to watch Shane with this wedge. Everybody's applauding. It's one of the greatest things that exists in golf. And then every time he needs to chip good to play good in a tournament and win, he can't. Couldn't get it up and down. The hard part at Valspar is getting the ball and play off the tee and then striping your irons. And Shane on the par 5s was doing that on every par 5. He could have birdied them all. And if you can birdie the par 5s at Valspar, you're chilling. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't chip it inside.
He led the field off the tee.
Yeah, he was minting it off the tee. He's just so unserious. I don't regret betting him at 40-1. I think that was a great number. But It's just so frustrating anytime you're involved in the Shane Lowry experience.
Yeah, I'm honestly like happy with the way I made decisions this week because I was going to bet Shane around like probably like 25 or 28, whatever he was. And then obviously he was in that wave that I was trying to avoid. But I would have been definitely tilting that hard because I didn't quite track as hard as you did in terms of the shot tracker on the par fives. And I would have been so upset if that was the case. So yeah, definitely a tough look there.
Xander, another guy who's working his way back. Some good, some bad from Xander. State of the Union. He's your guy. What is he working his way back?
He still doesn't know where the ball's going. And he said today that he went from trying to tinker with golf swings on Saturday to just get the ball in the hole. And it worked yesterday, or I mean, worked today rather than yesterday. So he's going to need some time for sure.
Did you take a shot at Rio? I didn't check the boots report, but somebody said you called out Rio. Do you have a state?
I just said he was not flushing. That's it. I said he was not flushing, and he's with Sungjae's old caddy, which I think is actually a bad decision. But he did flush, so hand up. I was wrong on Rio. But he did flush. I think he needs a new caddy that can speak with him better because he doesn't speak much English. Yep. And he's got that weird. Because whenever they're in like a controversy of a decision, he took so long 3 times this week, and it was like a thing. Like Rio and X are on the clock. Just get a caddy that speaks your language.
Yeah, no, that's been a take we've given before. At the end of the day, like it's razor thin margins out there. You want to be able to come up with the best plan. And I think too, he is a very aggressive player too. He aims at the pin consistently, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But Rio is Bermuda guy, a guy we've been high on, a guy who was good, then fell off, but he's still on the tour. He kept his card. He's hanging around, and I was happy to see him get up into the mix this week. And maybe if we improve the strokes getting caddy, the future is extra bright once again for Rio. Because wait, how old is Rio still? Only 22. Rio, like
he's only 22.
Young gun Rio. We can never lose sight of Rio. And like I said, good to see him up there this week. Last a couple things. This was the last thing I wanted to ask you about Valspar and on the tilting front, because I would have been tilted if it was me. Ben on. He was playing generational golf. He's your boy. You're legitimate friends with Ben on, as we said on the Players Boots report. Ben on complimented your hard work and basically praised you to the max. So I know that's a factor here as well. But he fell off hard, mixed and crashed and burned. Jers, you had eyes on it. What do you have an opinion? Are you upset?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit upset because the way it went down. I mean, like on hole 12, he was 9 under in the middle of the fairway on a gettable par. One of the gettable par fours, had a 9 iron in his hand, put it in the bunker, did not get it up and down, and then a 14 middle of the fairway, the par 5 going for it in 2, and he put it in the water and ended up making bogey. The reason I have like 2 takes about this. The first thing was he was hitting it like shit on that Saturday round. He was, I think, 4 under on the round, and he probably should have been 1 over or even par. He was getting so lucky with his breaks and where he was missing and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, we're lucky to be here. Let's just hold on. And then the second thing is on the par 5, when he put it in the water, he had a 1 iron, which he flushes. The thing that makes me mad is today he was in the same spot on that par 5, and he, like, middle of the fairway, everyone was getting there in 2 if they were in the middle of the fairway. The 1 iron is not quite long enough, and Ben's a long hitter. He's a generational wood player, and like a off the tee and a 3-wood player, driver off the deck too, like at the Genesis Championship. He didn't have the 3-wood yesterday. Put it in your bag, dude. Just put it in your bag today. Like, and he laid up. So what I'm saying is he laid up to 110 yards and put it to like 10 feet and made par. Like, dude, you're Ben on. Play to your strengths.
I think we should have a word with him.
And horrible strokes getting caddy too. Like, I hope you're not listening to this because I don't know, you weren't watching yesterday, but on all the par 3s, he was hitting longer clubs than Rio, and obviously he's much longer than Rio. But he was trying to hit like half shots, and they were not good. Like Ben-On's not like an off-speed, precise approach player, and like him and his caddy were like, "Yeah, let's hit these soft ones." And then his caddy was like, "Yeah, I think there's a lot of club, Ben, but if you hit a soft one, it'll work." And he was just like whiffing them. Like, it was just, I don't know what was going on.
It's like that makes sense. Why? Because I was basically out on Ben on after Kapalua when he made double bogey on 8 twice, because 8's that par 3 obviously with the big downhill where you need to pick a good club, and he made double there twice and like played great the rest of the tournament. But we can't have Vinsteric shirt representatives with bad strokes gain caddy, bad decision making. I think we need to talk to Ben on, say we've got some better ideas. And then we get Ben on into the winner's circle. I always bet Ben on at the Byron. So maybe we can get him thinking clearly.
Yeah, I need to get in Sean Foley's ear because I think I'll put in a good word to Ben because he listens.
You're
to
legit boys with Sean Foley. The way Sean Foley
via Ben.
The way Sean Foley gave you like a head nod and like, what's up, brother? At the players was honestly pretty sick. So like, shout out Sean Foley. Speaking of Sean Foley, Tiger Woods, did you see Tiger's tweet?
Oh, I saw. I saw. I thought we were gonna leave the pod with it, but yeah, I saw.
I forgot, but well, my girlfriend is like, she was deep in research when I was like showed it to her and I was explaining. It's a cultural phenomenon. This tweet, so we have to talk about it. What is your opinion on Tiger's tweet?
Yeah, I'm not going to say the source, but I found this out about like a month and a half ago, and I think I told you that this was going down, and I didn't know how true it was, but yeah, the word on the street was out in the camps of the Palm Beaches, and yeah, it's came to fruition. It's public knowledge now. So shout out the team. I'm for it. I'm all for
it. Okay, Houston. Like I said, you had Stevie Eggs last year, famously beat Scottie. I've bet Tone here before. To me, if you want a driver putter, if you want a driver short game, you wake up and you say, please give me a driver putter, driver short game course. It's Memorial
Park. Yeah, everyone's. And I think I have a take about this golf course because you look at some of the stats, some like high strokes gain approach gets there time and time again, but that's via great driving and setting up great wedge looks. You have to be a great driver and a great putter to set those chances up. Like even Jaeger, he's a driver putter, but he had a good approach week, and that was because of where he was off the tee. So I don't think you want a guy who's just a great iron player. You want a guy who can really take advantage of these holes with the driver, leading them to short irons and wedges. The driver will set up the strokes gained approach.
And one thing I think was crazy when I was looking at it was this has always been a bomber course. I mean, all four of the winners here are guys who just lash it from the tee. Carlos Ortiz, who also won on the international series. I've been betting Carlos a lot on Live this year. He's been generationally striping. So shout out to Carlos. But
did he win this week?
Yeah, he did. He won.
Oh, we'll see him at the Open.
Well, we will
with Rack City and P. Reed. We got to get a course report from Kessler though.
So so we can compare. But that's going to be sick that all those guys are there. But Carlos swings out of his shoes from the tee. Kokrak slinging draws off the tee. Finau nuke off the tee. And Stevie Eggs legitimately swings harder at the golf ball than anyone. And so it's always been a bomber course. But last year, the average driving distance when they played this event in the fall, because this event used to be in November, and obviously we're talking about a 5-month difference in time of year, the average driving distance in 2023 was 290 yards, which is like just below tour average. Last year, it was 302 yards, which is 9% above tour average. Like the change of time made it even more nuclear central. And that's why you have a leaderboard with guys like Jaeger, Finau. Obviously, Scotty's going to play great anywhere. Toasty, Dietz, Taylor Moore. And then behind that, you've got some more like positional guys like Billy Ho and Rye. Rye
loves it here, right?
Yeah. So anyone can play good here because the average scores, it's not a course where you can't find other ways, but the bias and like who you want to be leaning into, as long as they're okay at everything else and probably pretty good with the putter, is the driver P guys. Right. Like
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. That's where we're looking this week. So with that said, it's not a week where figuring out what the like course handicap is going to be is the hard part. That's going to be pretty straightforward. I think everybody in the greater golf community is going to agree on the keys to this course. But it's one of the weirdest odds board I've ever seen on any tour, in any event. Right now on DraftKings, and obviously these things will change, but Scotty's plus 320, Rory is plus 600, and then there's a gap to 30 to 1. Obviously, Scotty's played well here before. He should have won last year, but he didn't. Rory is driver putter champion. What do we do? What is going to happen here?
I'm going to send you this over after, and it'll be on the site. But I did think, probably stupidly, I think I'm pretty smart in these regards, but this might have been like my worst thought ever. I thought we were going to get a 6 or 7 on Scotty because of what Rory's been doing recently. Obviously 2 wins, 1 last week, and he's playing this event. Not the case. So hand up, I'm not wrong about it because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't been released to the public, but I'll admit to it right now. I was wrong about my initial thoughts on Scotty. I
That's
do think
dogs
this is the
too,
best chance
because
to win.
it's something that hasn't been released to the public, and we're going to release it anyway, even though you're here declaring that you could have backed off, but that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say that I would have said hard no. I don't think that occurs just because it's Scotty, and I think like the books are going to be afraid of Scotty for a while. But nonetheless, how now that he's not, obviously he's plus 320, Rory's plus 600. So keep going. Sorry, I just wanted to say that's dog.
No, that was the take. That was the take. It was really just I thought we were going to get a better number on Scotty, and you're probably going like, are you asking what to do with the top? Do I think this is a without week? Is that what you're asking?
I'm just saying, like, what do we do? Because this goes against every style of betting board that we've ever seen. You roll in a 7x multiple. I roll around a 10x multiple. So I'm only looking at guys this year above 20 to 1. That's to me great because now actually it starts at 30 to 1, even better. Like and also I will Vic clap my take. Vic clap together. Generational down the board opportunity at Valspar did come true. JT
Tommy
almost
T16.
That's the only guy we didn't talk about was Tommy.
We don't need to.
It's so funny. But like the board starts this week at 30 to 1, which is interesting. I'm just saying, like, how do we bet this event?
Yeah, I mean, this is another like 2 back-to-back weeks of maybe great odds boards, and I do think like as life goes on, new things have to happen. Guys are going to make names for themselves. Scottie and Rory aren't going to win every single week. Don't you like? Should we put that on a shirt?
They are right now. They might win every week.
As life goes on, new things will happen. That's what I'm going to roll with. So I think I'm going to go in the normal markets. So and just not hope that Scottie and Rory don't win. I mean, Rory, I'm out on back-to-back, which is one check thing. Yep. But I do think this is the best chance for Scottie to win. I wish I had boots. I really do.
But like, even if you,
it's not too late.
If you knew in the comments, it's not too late. That you could find other ways to bet. But like, yeah, I'll probably just bet normally. Hope.
No, you definitely will. Like, that's not even
rip a 10x card, because the thing is, the without market's going to be terrible. Like
I wonder where it will start.
I think it will, because like they're just wiping those guys out, and then they're going to rip the entire odds board down. Like,
so where do you think it'll start? Like odds wise, like say it doesn't matter who. Where 14, does the without market start?
14 to 1. Like Sung
That's
Jae.
Still a good odds board though. Like honestly,
no, because okay, maybe we'll see
when it starts at like that's a DP odds board. Like starts like 14 to 18. We'll see how it plays out. What if it starts around like 18 without? Like, would you do it?
We'll see. Let's talk about the guys and who I might, because at the end of the day, we still need to decide who we think is going to play well before we decide how we want to bet them. That's step one of whatever this process is going to look like. But I'll just say overall, the other thing is, even then, if it becomes a Rory Scotty battle or it's Rory Scotty down the stretch, that'd still be sick. Even if I don't have anything on him, even if I'm going to lose, it'll still be interesting if that takes place. But it probably won't. Who do you think's more likely to you? So you're
Scotty.
You're taking Scotty. Okay, that's what I thought. In the spirit of just going back and forth, because I feel like that's not a terrible way to go about it right now, I'll go Scotty. As well, but my Scotty and Rory Reed this year in general hasn't been very good. I've been seeing the down the board real nice this year, but again, that's not my focus. My focus has been 21 and above. So, but I don't know. It makes so much sense for Rory with how he's putting, and Scotty is putting so bad.
Yeah, no, like it's just that it's just the two big dogs. Hopefully they're not a factor, but
so then
also I wonder what they'll do with the tee times. But I would assume that the greater Houston area would want like one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So I don't think they'll put them together.
By the way, something we didn't mention, and we always put our hands up when we get things wrong, and there's things we get wrong all the time. You had a stance that Rory couldn't be paired with Scotty, and it would put his brain in a pretzel. And to be fair, I agreed with the take. I've seen it with my own eyes as well. I was down for the take. He won the Players' Championship. Are you going to stick with that going forward, or is this no longer going to be part of your process? Because I know how important your process is to you.
As life goes on, new things happen. So yeah, I mean, I do think that it's because he is so, and he's admitted to being so like baffled and dumbfounded by Scottie's game. He like says like, yeah, I want to learn from Scottie every single time, and that's both mature and crazy for like one of the best golfers of all time to say about someone else. So I still think it was a real take because he really hadn't played great with Scottie. He didn't really play too great. He played good on Thursday, but I don't know. I think I'll probably take a backseat to that take though.
The guy that he beat in the playoff is JJ Spawn, and right now again we're looking at the DraftKings odds board on Sunday night.
Great number.
JJ Spawn is 30-1. Sungjae Im is 30-1. That is absurd to me on JJ and reasonable on not even reasonable on Sung. I would say these are not the driver putter type of guys that I'm after this week. I'd rather nuke a bunch of guys down the board who are bombers than go to either of these guys. But what are your takes on Sungjae and JJ if they're the next two guys on the board?
I thought it was funny on the highlight package this week that like Houston gets the top players in the world and it's like Scottie, Rory, and like the next flashover is JJ Spawn. So like shout out Spawn for like making a name for himself. One good week does a lot. But I don't think those are feasible bets on either of the two. I mean Sungjae can't hit his iron, so maybe it is driver putter week for him. But yeah, I'm out on both of them.
Want to know who, when I was looking at this board, I was like, that number is not great, but I love the golf course for him. And he's a guy that we've talked about a lot of late. Davey T. He's 35-1. I don't like that number on Davey T, but this is Davey T. Number, he did. And this is Davey T golf as far as I'm concerned. Drive it well off the tee. His around the green play is excellent. The putter comes and goes, but maybe it spikes this week. Kind of middle level scoring conditions. He obviously won a birdie fest as well. But if we're high on Davey T, I think this is an interesting spot for him. And if you compare him with the other guys right now at 35, Pendy, who has forgot how to putt, Michael Kim, who maybe the heater's over, and then Aaron Rye, who we just talked about has played well here before. Of those four guys, I'm going Davey T, but who would you go amongst those four?
I'm probably with you on Davey T because like far too many times this season, I've seen great things from a guy on site and just like if I just hold on to them, I'm not that I haven't, but like just they've came to fruition a few weeks later. So I do think Davey T. I mean, you know how much I raved about him in the last month. So I don't want to let go of that. Davey T. probably be my guy here.
Two guys who have been favorite level players here before in this event. Both guys that make sense. Both guys who are playing all right golf. Inconsistent maybe. Wyndy C and Tony Finau are both 40-1. Seem fair numbers versus where we've seen them in this event before. Either interest you? Do you have a lean either way? Both? Wyndy?
Well, I mean, Wyndy, he was nearly the favorite of this event last year. And the ball striking has not been horrible of late. The putter kind of held him back, which is weird when you think about what he's done, what he did at the API. But I think he could be in way worse form in terms of ball striking, and he's showing some decent signs. Did withdraw a little recently with an injury, a neck injury, but who knows if that was real. I think he might have just wanted to get out of town. Another wish I had boots situation on Wyndy, but I don't mind him here.
He had to get out of town because Danny Walks was wiping the floor with him
Makes sense.
At the Players. But wow, Finau approach at the Players. He must have hit in the water all the time. I'd give Finau a look. I'm obviously I know you're out on Finau forever. You don't think he cares about golf, but 40-1 Finau, maybe. I've hit him here before. I'm obviously biased, but I'd consider it. Here's some guys who I hope they would need their odds to drift ultimately for me to be involved. Si Woo. Min Woo can drive or putter. He'll go as far as his 2 iron.
First guy I wrote up. I said flowchart question mark, but it's not a flowchart. But it's to make sense though. Driver putter to the max.
I think you need.
If Tommy Dietz can almost win here,
you need to. No, I'm not saying that Min Woo can't play well here. I'm just saying you going against the flowchart on Min Woo has never benefited you. And I think you need I get it because it makes sense. And there are weeks where I've considered breaking it and I might this week. I'm just saying we have to remember the flowchart for a reason, especially when we're going down in the 40 to 50-1 range on Min Woo, in my opinion. I think he would need to be, I'm good if he's triple digits, but it'd be tough for me this week. Jason Day, he's been putting it nice. He's won in Texas. He's good at golf.
I think Jason Day really believes he can do it this week. He can win. I don't mind that. I
What
really don't.
What are his stats been?
Yeah. Bad?
No, good.
Okay. Yeah.
He's gaining across the board. J-Day can win. J-Day can absolutely win this event. J-Day can win this event. Stevie Yeggs,
he might be the live fave.
His performance was hilarious. Both him and Fox, we were both on both of them, I think.
Not comedy
efforts. But here's a guy to talk about. Oh, actually, wow, this is a good number. 55-1 on Mav.
Yep, driver putter for sure. I do not care what he did in Florida. It's not good, but Mav is one of the least Florida men on the tour. This is a great spot for Mav. And he's never missed a cut here. Down for Mav for sure.
So I haven't bet Mav since Farmers. 55-1 in this field. Yeah, since Tory. Wow. Okay. I need to also Vic lap Smalley. I declared Smalley that I declared I know Smalley on the last podcast after the Players Championship because I've been on him a few times when he's mixing, and I said he's going to need to miss some cuts after the Players because he's going to be mentally exhausted from the stress that the Players took out of him. He missed the cut, I believe, Jers, at the Valspar. He continues to play this week. His odds are not good this week. I will say, I think he can bounce back here. As the Smalley Whisperer, I'm going to end the missed cut run at just 1. I think maybe that's enough time to recover. I'm not convinced. I don't think he's going to win. I'm not betting him to win by any means, but Smalley now is in the middle of the odds board a lot, so I have to give my take on Smalley now on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a good Vic. While we're at it, I'll Vic Onishi. Vince Sarks will Vic Onishi as a program. So he was like 7-1 to make the cut, and he did that.
That's sick. I know Onishi was one, honestly, legendary boots call. Infinity to 1. He was the last guy on the odds board when we looked on the boots report, and it's sick because it was on the boots report pod. So anybody who listened to the pod could have had 7-1 made cut on Onishi. Which imagine parlaying Smalley missed cut with Onishi made cut. That's what we should have done.
I'm sure people did that.
Yeah, if anyone out there did that,
dude, we're so good at that. We should do that every boots. Parlay one made cut, one missed cut, because like that was our only bet we should have made at the Players was Sam Burns made cut or Sam Burns missed cut Smalley T40. That was our moral locks.
At the end of the day, picking outrights is hard. As you've proven before, at a place like Pine, when you famously had the 4th hole bet, some of the like random bets like that ultimately is where the most value of boots can come from.
There's a man in the Discord who listens to our reports with the weather and asked me about like the holes in the wind. So shout out Dub Sleep in the Discord. He basically got banned from betting these hole props because he's rinsed them, or at least they took them off for recently. So if you're listening to this, shout out. You are a true beast with those hole props that we've been doing the last 2 years. So get in the Discord.
Get in the Discord. Free Discord. Discord@vincerics.com. The battle of the bots. I'm starting to feel like I'm winning the battle of the bots. I figured some things out. It's not terrible, but they're annoying and I hate them.
Yeah.
And I've made it my life's mission to crush them. So that is going better, I would say. And I've got some more ideas in my back pocket, of course, there. Okay, there's a lot of interesting name here. I think it's the time where, because we don't really know where the odds are going to move, obviously we'll have stuff up on the site. We'll be back for fast greens. Not quite random year of the week time. I'm going to save those for my next question, but I'm just going to list off some guys above 60-1 who kind of make sense at this course. Ben Griffin, Max Grazerman would make a ton of sense for me here. Kurt K might be Corn Ferry now. Joey Buckets. P. Raj would make sense here. Harry Hall would make sense here. Shamey P showed up again at the Valspar. Our boy, Sam Stevens. That's who
we told him Houston. We told him Houston. Yeah.
Can you text him and remind him? Because I looked at him in the eyes and I say, you guys need to approach Houston with the most confidence of any event of the year. And he was like, all right, let's do it.
Strokes gained Texas. He's got insane strokes gained Texas in terms of ball striking. But I will say, I was a little bit concerned as to how he said that they love playing courses that are tight. And this is really not that. But he does stripe it off the tee, like long and straight. And you don't want to be short here at all. So I'm down for Stevens at what, 90, 80?
Yeah. Did any of those guys I say before him?
No. No, I don't really love Grazerman. I mean the number's fine. At the same number, like right below, I think this is a great course for Nick Norgard, but the number's so unserious. Like 90-1 is an unserious number. He needs to be 200-1.
Okay, that leads to random Euros, and
because I don't like that range, truthfully.
Do you see there was a super duper random Euro leading on the DP going into the final round?
Yep.
Like Ericsson or something. That was sick.
Yep.
That was sick. I thought Vincent was going to hit another winner on the DP. He had Tommy McKibbs, and McKibbs was right there. But I think the 54 holes definitely, obviously Mansell can't. It would have been impossible for Mansell to win without 72 holes. But I just had to note that there was a random Euro there because that leads to random Euro of the week, Jers. And there's the Højgaard twins are here again. We famously were way wrong on the Højgaards. Infamously, we're way wrong on the Hojes at players. You went back to Nikolai, I think, last week. This course might make the most sense out of all of them. I'd be willing to give the Hojes another chance. You're
never gonna have to convince me on that. They're two of the most talented golfers in the world, and I'll live by that. I don't care that it's not gone well. It's not. This is a perp. Like they're perp. Like you bet them. You're not gonna hit a 50-1 bet every single week. Bet the Hojes. But honestly, Rasmus is back in the downfall. And did you see the clip I tweeted?
I haven't watched it yet. I saw it, but I have not fully engaged with it.
They address the situation that they don't know why they don't play well at the same time.
They talked about it?
Yes, you have to watch it. It's insane. Because the shout out Dylan Duthier, he did the interview and he brought it up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was like, yeah, this is something that we've talked about in our whole entire life in juniors. When I was winning, Raz wasn't winning. When I was winning, Nico wasn't winning. It was insane. And they talked about it. They're like, yeah, we talk about it to this day, and it hasn't made sense. So Nico's playing better right now by a little bit.
That is legitimately crazy.
It was a crazy. It's an hour-long video, which I didn't know. I would recommend if you have time.
That is, wow. That is sick. But either way, that makes it sound like we need to be in on Nikolai this week, even though I think this course would make more sense as a Rasmus course because Rasmus is driver putter champion as well.
Yeah.
So, and he's beaten Rory down the stretch. So if Rasmus,
they talked about that.
That was sick. Were they hyped about it?
Oh yeah, they were hyped about it. And you have to say they also talked about when they were growing up how in Denmark they went to their first junior tournament and they didn't know what to expect. They came with like shitty clubs and all like the kids had like Titleist and like bags and they were like, I didn't know golf in Denmark was this popular. And then they finished 1-2 with like shit clubs. And they're like, yeah, that's when we knew like we were good at golf. And they said that they had another friend like in high school growing up who was like the Vinnie Murphy. His name was Rasmus also. I just thought it was amazing stuff. You got to watch it.
I'll check that out. That sounds great. We're only going to go for a few more minutes because I need to sweat the New Mexico versus Michigan State game to see if it was a generational second round of college basketball betting for me or just a solid second round. But random Euro of the week is where I was going with that. Outside of the Hojes, any random Euros down the board you're interested in?
Chris Ventura. Back-to-back Norwegians, Viking Cup, big week for them. I like Chris Ventura. This is the week where if you hit a heavy ball, you're gonna play well, and everyone knows that Chrissy V hits a heavy ball, so I'm down for him.
I would go back to Aldi Potts. I've been going to Aldi Potts. He was in the bad wave. Aldi Potts at 150-1. Isaiah Salinda Jers at 150-1.
Dude, I love this odds board.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm going with these guys for sure. Who was I going to talk about?
Tristy Law, 350. Great course for him.
Down. Jeremy Paul, your boy. Hard mix.
He's good at golf. Like I've bet him a few times this year. He's good at golf.
Yanni and Jeremy can't be good at the same time as either.
People are saying that. Yanni's bad now.
Oh, Carl, 170.
Yeah, I saw that. Nuke. I was like waiting for you to see it. And Trey Mole too. That's your guy.
Yeah, I don't give a shit that Carl's missed the last two cuts after this course makes so much sense for Carl. I don't think Carl became the world's greatest golfer and now isn't. He's still the world's greatest golfer. He's under. I'm gonna bet my guys this week, Jers, because Nikki Dunn's down here 200-1. Goddard's down here.
Spring, bet all the bombers.
EVR's down here. Done. I might start my card at 150 and bet bombers. 25-man bomber card.
Let's check the RR, plug it in. I think that's good. I think that's good.
It's just been it's I'm sorry. I don't think I've started a card below 40 to 1 yet this year.
Really?
And I'm getting guys are mixing, but then also I'm not burning as much because I'm playing the higher multiple down the board.
Yeah, and you already have a winner this year. We're both well on pace. This has been a great season thus far. It's the long game, boys. It's you're not going to hit an outright every 3 weeks.
And that's why you can't be betting 16, 18, 25, 40 to 1, 50 to 1, 80 to 1, 100 to 1 on your card every week. So that's at the end of the day, golf betting is hard. And that's what I'm saying. If you're capable of hitting winners that often, honestly, respect. But it's so tough. Okay. Yeah, this Mike T, 250. Sure. Why not? Lonto, 300. This might...
He's Strokes in Houston. He's like Strokes in Houston number 2 in the world outside Carlos.
Last week was the greatest down the board opportunity of all time, and it worked. This might be even longer odds. Last week, because Vic hit at 80. David Lipsky's last on the odds board at 1,000 to 1. Davey Lip was soft mix this week at the Valspar. He was.
Yeah, he might be a difficult conditions merchant. Because remember when he won the Memorial?
He mixed hard at Bay Hill too 1 year.
Medium scoring.
Want to know who played good here? The guy that you forgot, who you were trying to remember at Cognizant, the Englishman, the big guy, Benny T played good here. Almost beat Tone.
Is he in the field?
No, I think he's retired.
Yeah, he's got to be.
But yeah, we'll be back for Fast Greens. I'm excited for Fast Greens this week. I'm excited to switch up the style. Obviously, we've had Boots, Florida. Great work down there. Everything will be up on the site. We'll be back for Fast Greens. We'll have some takes on the DFS board. We'll have some takes on the bets. And then obviously everything will be up on the site. Houston week, LPGA, the Ford Championship, Nelly Korda defending champion. That's concerning to me. I know it's always bad on the LPGA when it's a course that the very top players win a lot. Riss always warns us about that. So we'll see what he has to say. And then the Indian Open.
Yep. Position, be very precise with your irons. That's my take on the Indian Open. Be a great iron player.
Kieta almost won Nakajima.
He won there last year, right?
And he won there last year, so that'll be interesting. He'll probably be most tipped. But good stuff.
Shout out Ali Schneider. Ali Schneider won the international series at this golf course a few weeks ago.
Generational striper.